Alright everyone, welcome back to Brigandine, the Legend of Runersia. But before we do this, hit the intro.
And as usual, stay triggered. Pew pew, pew.
Alright, let's talk about Anne. Now, who is Anne? What is Anne? And why is she Anne? And why is she an assassin? Anne the assassin, that's interesting. Okay, so Anne is a character from the Shinobi tribe, and she's pretty good. Before you do that though, or before we get into it, before I do that and we get into it, if you could hit the thumbs up and subscribe, that'd be great. But Anne is gender female, age 20, class assassin. This young dancer is a descendant of the House of Hazam. Her family was disbanded on her father's orders, but they somehow found each other again. Together, they have vowed to bring victory to their nation. Though her name is no longer widely known, rumors of her ability to charm her foes, even in the midst of battle, are spreading like wildfire. With passionate fans in every nation, she may yet restore her family's standing in years to come. Now, she's a kind of a special character. She's kind of like the Miguel Legel caster family from the previous game of The Legend of Forcina, where you kind of have to meet them in a certain order to kind of get them back together. And well, I don't think you really have to meet them in a certain order. They just meet on battle, and then they'll kind of come to join you, because really this is just a single player game. So they kind of threw out that idea of who had to meet at what point. But she's a very good assassin. She's got decent stats, and as an assassin, because now I got her up to level 21, she's got even better stats. So what do you start with? You start off with these cross knives here, these dual cross knives that the Lord of the Holy Gustav Empire, he can use these weapons here. There is light armor, there is a gauntlet, and there is a ring. So the cool thing about assassin is you get a critical rate up S. So S rank is when you get to assassin, increases the chance of landing a crit hit by 25%. So the chance to be able to hit with a crit go up by 25%, which is really good. Evasion up to A, increases evasion up to 20%. So look at the agility here is what you're kind of looking for when you're trying to understand evasion. 96 agility. Find a calculation for that, and then times 20% on top of that. So it just makes her extremely dodgy, and she is honestly one of the best knights in the game because of some of the stats here. You're going to look at that in a second. Now, what do we also get? The ability is double movement. Allows the unit to move again after the attack if they haven't yet used up their mobility for that turn. So if you have 5 movement, which it does say right there, you have 5 movement, you move 3 spaces, you do the attack, you can pull back. As long as you're not pushed into a surrounding situation, you can pull back as far as you want to go, as far as you're able to. So if you move 3 spaces and you can move back 2, and there's some 2 spaces move back 2, it'll allow you to move back. Now, what are some of her stats? She has really good hit points for a dancer class, or the assassin class. Attack is really nice. Agility is really nice. This is all like a good check there. Strength is pretty decent. Attack is pretty phenomenal. You can see the defense is 115. That's not bad. You got a pretty good MP pool there, and mobility of 5. I like that. Rune power 257. Now look at this, 4 for command range. Now character growth at assassin class is at E, which is okay, not that great, but rune growth, A. She's got an A for rune growth. I mean, she is just one of the best dancers that there are out there, and you can get her to come to almost any country and use her. Just fantastic stats. You just can't go wrong with her. You really can't. I know when you're moving forward and you've got other established knights that work very well, but if you need somebody in a pinch, Anne is just one of those reliable characters to go to. So here is some of the assassin attacks that you can do while you're on a field. Evil Cross is your normal attack, and as you can see, her normal attack is at 130. Look at that. Plus 14 accuracy with that. Normal attack, 130 power, and then 114. It's very good. Next up, all these here, as you can see, with all the little boots, they're all pre-moves. But the Evil Cross will just do that all the time. So, okay, so all these are pre-moves. Why are they all different? Let's check them out. Ghost Hit deals major damage to a single adjacent enemy unit. It is a one-hit attack, but like we saw earlier with this, we can basically, you know, double movement. So if we attack a guy, we can walk away from it. So we can be standing next to him, hit him, and walk away. But what I like to do is do an attack up here, then move towards the enemy. So after I do this attack, right, like let's say I'm over here with, you know, I do this attack, I do that attack there, boom. I move over to this space while there's a monster here, do my Ghost Hit at this point, and then I move away to another monster. And you see you can kind of bounce around the field a little bit. And I made a cool little stick man, you know. I should probably put a hat on him. Okay, never mind the drawing. But yeah, you can do Ghost Hit, and it's pretty cool. It does cost 60 MP, so it is kind of a costly hit, but it is 160 power, which actually is quite strong. It's kind of something I do a good amount because it's not too costly, but you know, it can get the job done. Now, what do we got next? Bewitching Step deals minor damage to a single enemy unit within a 2-hex radius. Has a 30% chance of inflicting poison, paralysis, silence, faint, petrify, or charm. It can inflict any of those. This is honestly done a lot. This is one of those cheap moves that you can do on the fly, and I've seen plenty of people do it. And this, you know, you could do this 2 spaces away. It doesn't do much damage. It's only 75. It's a very weak damaging attack, but it can inflict all those things, and it only costs 30 MP. So it's a really cheap poison, or paralyze, or silence, or charm. You know, it's basically like if you're feeling lucky, try Bewitching Step. You'll see what I'm talking about, okay? Now, Fatal Darkness is her highest attack. Deals massive damage to a single adjacent enemy unit. Critical rate is increased, which means that the critical rate of damage will be increased. That's fantastic. Now, it's not as high accuracy as the other ones. You see plus 10, and then there's plus 18, and then, you know, 14 from the previous ones here. So it's not as high accuracy, but it's phenomenally powerful with 200 power potency. This used to be called potency for the power here, but now it's just called power. I think terminology has changed a little bit, but I don't see why. But yeah, that's what it is. And MP is 110. So it's very, very costly. And as you can see, you only have 172 MP, so you can only do this one time. One time at this level. You're going to have to get more equipment and potions and stuff to crank up her MP to do this at least twice, which you would probably need a few. But yeah, that's what you need to do this. And it's very, very powerful. I only use this if I'm going up against Rudo. If I'm up against Rudo or a mage I need to just knock out immediately, I'll save a Fatal Darkness. Otherwise, I'm just going to be going with Ghost Hits. And I'll do some Bewitching Steps sometimes. You know, if I can't get in there and I can play with the enemy, I'll go with Ghost Hit. Okay? That's kind of my go-to, right? Now, you got some magic here. You got Dimension, which could prove useful in certain situations. Like, let's say there's a clay golem, you just want to, like, kick his butt out of the way. You've got 4 hex radius to Dimension. It's quite large on a screen. It's pretty massive, actually. 83 to use the spell, like I think it used to be. And you could do that. which isn't so bad. Then we've got Venom here, which is 3 hex radius. We already know what that does. It has a power ratio to it, so it actually does, you know, show me kind of like the damage. So it's going to be a little less than Bewitching Step in a way, but it is a magic spell. And it has a chance to inflict poison, which is kind of nice. And then you got Gravity, which changes preferred terrain of single enemy unit in a 4 hex radius to planes and lowers their agility. Lasts for 3 turns until the unit. So this is good for flying creatures. I gotta be honest, I almost never do Gravity. I know there could be some situations where you could do Gravity for, but this is kind of a questionable spell. I don't know why they really put it in the game. I think it was just to have some kind of versatility. It really just makes the enemy less evasive. And so let's say you had, I don't know, some kind of very evasive archer you were trying to fight, and they had forest terrain or winged terrain, and they were within a certain thing that they couldn't, they could keep evading. Or even Stella, you could put Gravity on them and it would change them down to being able to hit them easier. Now I guess this kind of works for them, for you doing this for a team, but as her own character with agility of 96, she's gonna probably hit it anyways. But maybe this is just a support spell to help out the other monsters or people on your team to make sure that you can hit this enemy. So I guess that's why they gave it to her. But yeah, that's essentially her from the Shinobi tribe. And she's fantastically awesome. She's honestly one of the best dancers there are. It's really between her and Della as far as who I kind of pick going into battle. If you pick both of them to go into a battle against Rudo, he is screwed. He is just screwed, because you can just pull out all these ghost hits, and you could do some Bewitching Steps if you want. If you get a Fatal Darkness on him with a bunch of ghost hits, Rudo is just done for, because it's just double black. And the thing is, he has to be able to hit you with his 96 agility and also the evasion up. So it's not just 96 agility, you also have a tacked on automatic 20% evasion. So I'm just saying, if you can take these two into a field, you will knock out Rudo within a turn or two. I can almost guarantee that. But yeah, Anne is awesome. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely give a sub, put up a thumb. That'd be nice. And let me know, which one of your dancers is your favorite class here. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.